Whiskey 9, 7 November, interrogative Alpha Bravo. Negative Alpha Bravo. And this is 7 November Golf. Roger, request you check your Romeo side. I'll go ahead and check my Tango side. 7 November Golf out. November 8 to 5, and 8 to 5, 7 November, say again. Roger, I said you can be back 30 feet before I come up on the 7 November, go. Roger, I copied a while ago, 1 Charlie transmission that my thing used, and 8 to 5, this is 7 November, Roger, Charlie. 8 to 5, Roger. Now 1 Charlie, 7 November, go.
This is 1 Charlie, welcome to your last. You're Brandon 158 extra 5 o'clock tonight with 1200 between teams and local. Also request your unit take extra message to see if we can try to get Whiskey 9 and 8 for Bond to the playground.
And this is 7 November, Roger, stand by.
Got that.
Got it? Alright. And all units, this is 7 November Golf. My unit Alpha, Echo, X-ray Alpha, Alpha in there.
One Charlie, Alpha Bravo.
Hey, I never took a dip. I forgot to take a dip.
Whiskey 9, 7 November, interrogative Alpha Bravo. Whiskey 9, Yankee, 7 November Golf, over. Whiskey 9, go. Whiskey 9, 7 November, interrogative Alpha Bravo. Whiskey 9, Yankee, 7 November Golf, over. Whiskey 9, go. Whiskey 9, 7 November, interrogative Alpha Bravo. Negative Alpha Bravo. And this is 7 November Golf. Roger, request you check your Romeo side. I'll go ahead and check my Tango side. 7 November Golf out. November 8 to 5, and 8 to 5, 7 November, say again. Roger, I said you can be back 30 feet before I come up on the 7 November, go. Roger, I copied a while ago, 1 Charlie transmission that my thing used.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Back on live. I'm down in North Carolina doing some travel. Y'all know the deal. Send me your VA questions. It's not a live stream. I had a long day today. Really, really long day. Bill, how's it going? Welcome to the show. Alex, I'm glad you're looking forward to it. I am too. There's no questions. There's no live. So let's get them rolling in. VA housing education. David, how's it going? What's up? Storm Vet, as always. Congrats to you again. All right, Leander Savoy. Waiting for a decision for my heart valve replacement and bypass and hypertension and anxiety. Okay, so heart valve, we have some bypass in there, some heart conditions, hypertension, and anxiety. What should I expect to get a rating for? Still trying? Yeah, so let's talk about how those conditions are rated. First, your heart condition, many ways, but for hypertension, the most common ratings are 0 or 10%. Not saying you can't get higher, just the most common ones are 0 or 10. The determining factor from 0 to 10, you'll see the top number and bottom number, or diastolic and whatever they're actually called. Or there's an or statement in 38 CFR for hypertension if your medication controls your symptoms. So then the medication can carry you to 10%. And as far as anxiety goes, that can be rated at 10, 30, 50, 70, or 100%. I have a video on what 70% mental health looks like. You know what? I'll go ahead and link it down in the chat for you so you can check it out. But you're definitely going to want to watch that to look at how the VA rates mental health. if I can find it. Here it is right here. But this is actually one of my favorite videos I've made. So give that a peek for sure. All right, Scott, how's it going? What's up? Highlight GOAT. Who has to diagnose with migraines? Can it be my PCM? Does it have to be a neurologist? Same thing with my mental health PCM or psychologist. Yeah, so your primary care is going to refer you to a specialist, right? Now, looking at migraines, depending on what has caused them. So if you had like a TBI or something like that, and you're already seeing a neurologist, that's probably the best route to go. I'm assuming that's not you. I'm assuming you just have migraines and you want to talk to your PCM about that. That's completely fine. Your PCM will probably, depending on severity of your symptoms, they'll probably give you medication or some kind of treatment plan. Or they could absolutely refer you to a neurologist. As far as who the diagnosis comes from, as long as it comes from your primary or referred care. If you go to if you get a private DBQ or private independent medical opinion and that one-time visit is a diagnosis, it's still a diagnosis, but it's not going to carry the same weight as if your PCM or PCM or referred care gave the diagnosis. So that's a long way to say what you're doing is right. Just talk to your PCM, talk to your PCM about your migraines and your mental health, and then they'll take it from there. B-Buck, it's been a while, but you ain't any better looking. Yeah, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. That's for sure. What's up, B-Buck? Welcome back. Ari Smith, how you doing? I'm good, chilling. Down in North Carolina. Doing a lot of work down here. I'm down at Lejeune, actually. Bill, yep, weekend's coming. Can't wait. Leander says, can't Lejeune water cause my heart valve replacement and bypass? What to expect? Yeah, so assuming you are PACT Act, looking at the Camp Lejeune water stuff, you should expect a CMP exam. You should expect tons of x-rays, MRIs, EKGs probably, as far as your heart condition goes. Brock Lloyd says, recently diagnosed with mixed IBS, deployed to Iraq. Would this be considered presumptive? Yes. Short answer is yes. And go Big Blue, that's right. Kentucky football is not looking too good. We haven't really played anyone as of yet, but we haven't lost either, so I'll take that as a win. Donald says, just got a decision letter saying I may be eligible for Pes Planus. What is the rating for 1 foot? Thanks. Donald, I have an entire, it's like 50 seconds long video on how the foot is rated. Okay? I'm going to link it in there for you. It goes over Pes Planus. Looking at pronounced is 50%. That's the highest, the highest one. But you're going to want to look at all foot conditions because when there's one, there might be more. Let me see if I can pull this up for you. Looking at foot pain. Here it is. Bada bing, bada boom. Copy. Okay. Boom. Check that video out. That's how the foot is rated. Okay. Alex Amador, what's up? I finished my last CMP exam and was wondering if I need to fill out something because I have family as far as dependents. Will the VA have that for my military file? No, they won't. Not at all. You have to file for your dependents. I would suggest you do that right now. Super easy. Go to va.gov, keyword search dependents. It'll pop up. Go ahead and put your spouse, your children. I do believe you'll need their social security numbers if I remember correctly. But their VA is not going to do that for you. That's for sure. Derek Williams, what's up? I'm going for a diabetes CMP on Monday. Had CMP with Psychiatrist. Can't exercise because both ankles are service connected with a brace on right ankle. What do you think? What was your CMP exam for? Because You said you had a CMP exam with a psychic doctor. I assume you mean psychiatrist. So was it for mental health? And you said your both ankles are service connected with the brace on the right. I assume you're talking about mental health secondary to your ankles. Assuming the secondary service connection is there, I need tons of more information about your mental health symptoms to figure out how that's rated. If you're talking about your ankles, the most common ratings for ankles are 0 and 10%. Ted Reinbrecht. I'm sure I butchered that one. How long is the claims process taking? I'm still waiting since April just to see if I get CMP exam for PTSD claim. Yeah, so April's not that long of a time. What is that, like January, March, April, May? Excuse me for a second. May, June, July, August, September. 5 months. You're definitely tipping there, okay? I'd say 6 months, no CMP exam. I'd probably start making some calls. You can ask the VA or call the VA and ask them where your claim's at. If you use the VSO, they'll be able to see the correspondence within the VA system as to where your claim is actually at in that process. PIHI, so PI Marine. If I have knee extension at 30% and knee sprain at 0, I'm assuming it's saying strain. Is it smart to go for an increase for the knee strain? This is all on my left knee. I have not claimed my right knee yet. Yeah, so you can have multiple ratings for each knee, usually for extension and flexion, right? And so you're looking at extension at 30%, which is pretty solid. I'm going to be honest with you. This is me without looking at your evidence. A 30% knee rating is pretty good, okay? Unless you have some flexion range of motion going on in your left knee, my advice looking at this comment and this comment alone is not to do anything with that left knee. Jamie Thompson, several questions. All right, I got several answers. I have 3 different mental health diagnoses, 1 from VA, 2 from private, none the same. Which should I use? PTSD was the original one suggested. Jamie, I would simply claim mental health. Let the VA do VA stuff. I would leave it broad and claim mental health. They will see your evidence. They'll look at your diagnosis, and then they'll go from there. This isn't really something to sweat at all. Frank says, first of all, thank you for what you do. So great to see help. Thank you very much, Franklin. I appreciate that. Thank you for joining the stream. Scott says, y'all hit that like button and share with your fellow vets who need assistance. There we go. That's something I always forget to do. Wherever the like button is down there, go ahead and click it for me. I'd appreciate that. It takes about 2 seconds. John Sullivan, 1, thank you for being a member of the channel. I appreciate that. Where does GI Bill pay for VRNE if it is GI Bill before 9/11? Yeah, so 2 separate things. You have the GI Bill, which is over here, and you have VRNE, which is over here. And they're not the same at all. The GI Bill doesn't pay VRNE. It's its own entity. If you are going to school under VRNE, you're still going to get BAH. It's the same thing as if you were going to school full-time on the GI Bill. With VRNE, there are other stipulations, like if anything's needed for that course, it will also pay for like a laptop, stuff like that. On the GI Bill side of the house, you'll still get BAH, assuming you're a full-time in-person student for full BAH. But you'll get stipends each semester to pay for like books and stuff like that. The psychic doctor was a eating disorder CMP exam. Okay, Derek, so you are saying, back to your original question, you had a CMP exam for eating disorder. I'm going for a diabetes CMP exam on Monday. CMP for eating disorder. Can't exercise because both ankles are service connected with a brace on right ankle. What do you think? Yeah, I think depending on how the depending on what your symptoms of the eating disorder are, that's how it's going to be rated. There's no way possible for me to tell you what rating you can get without going through the DBQ and asking you the questions myself. Keith, what's up? Good evening. Appreciate you coming out. Bill says, I got out of the Army in 2000. My exit paperwork, I wrote that I have problems sleeping at the time, not treated. In 2013, I was diagnosed with obstructive sleep apnea by the VA. Is there a way to service connect? Technically speaking, and I'm going to be very technical here, that would serve as an in-service event. I'm going to tell you right now, with sleep apnea, that in-service event is way down here, like off the screen low. I'm saying it sucks, right? Can you service connect it? It is technically possible. Are you going to need to go secondary? Probably. Okay. I have a sleep apnea video on my channel that talks about secondary service connection for sleep apnea. I want you to take a look at it because you're going to need multiple correlating factors. I'm going to link it in the chat for you. But it looks at multiple correlating factors, and you need to figure out what you have when it comes to these factors here to get that service connected. Jamie Thompson, I think I would get my migraines and mental health approved at 50 and 70, neck pain secondary to migraines or tinnitus for the final point to get to 100 ? All right, so let's say you're at mental health at 70, migraines at 50, neck pain secondary to migraines or tinnitus. So for once looking at secondary conditions, any condition can be connected to any other condition, theoretically speaking. If your migraine is causing your neck pain, which is causing some range of motion limitation, it's possible. Now the question is, are your migraines causing your neck condition? That I don't know about, okay, without looking at the evidence. I assume that's what you're asking. Vanessa, what's up? Quick question. If I do receive VA 100 rating, do I take my kids to the CAT card place on base? No. I would want to know why you want your children to have CAT cards in the first place. And it wouldn't really be a CAT card, it'd be the dependent ID stuff. To be honest with you, I'm not too familiar with IDs when it comes to the VA. Well, the veteran being 100% PNT. I'm wondering why you would want your kids to have dependent IDs to get on base. Would be my first question. Okay, sorry. Marvin says, hello, I just got my C file on a CD after 6 months. Okay, that's about the golden rate is 6 to 9 months. Since I have pending claims and my C file is constantly being updated, how often should I request my C file? Yeah, I mean, one, that part sucks. Okay. Looking at so Marvin, I wouldn't request your entire C file because you already have it. What you could do is go to your regional office and look at specific things you want to get. So if it's a CMP exam, if you want to know if your new conditions that are being updated are static, I would request that specifically versus your entire C file. As far as how often you should do it, once you reach your proper rating, right, if it's 90% or 100%, go ahead and get the C file or the information you don't have. MRI is STR enough to claim arthritis. I want to know where highlight go is this arthritis at. So arthritis doesn't happen overnight. Okay. There's actually a 1-year presumptive with arthritis. So if you do have arthritis and it's claimed within that first year, it's going to be presumptive. So the answer is yes. Looking at MRI and STRs, that's very, very strong in medical evidence, as long as whatever that stemmed from service. Paul King says hello back. And I just received a brace for service-connected knee. Yeah, so for your knee, that could be 20%. My oldest turns 18 next year, which he needed CAC in theory for VA 100. No, Vanessa. I got you. It's okay. Just Fred. Discharged for personality disorder. Diagnosed about 2/3 through my second enlistment. Discharged in 91. Where do you think my chances are honorable discharge? Yeah, you have the in-service event. Now, I will tell you, I'll be real with you. There's a huge gap there from 91 to right now. But hey, you have the in-service event. I assume you still have a personality disorder. Submit the claim. I'll leave it at that. Oh, let me get back to the super chats here. Giannis, I'll come back to you. Don't worry. All right, Brian Patterson with the $20 super sticker. Hey, Brian, what's up? I appreciate that. Let me check and see if you have any questions for me. Yeah. No. All right. And Terry Klein with the $20 super sticker. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. If you guys have any questions, you let me know. Brian, I got you. Yeah, my email is absolutely wild. I'll have to catch up on emails here soon. All right, let's get back to Giannis P. Thank you very much for the donations. I definitely appreciate that. Giannis says, hello, a month ago, I put in secondary claim for radiculopathy from my back for both of my legs. If I get an increase, will I also get an increase from my back or only from radiculopathy? Yeah, so probably what's going to happen is your radiculopathy claims are going to open up your service-connected back condition. That's a banana pudding milkshake, by the way. Super good. And so it's technically possible for your back to receive an increase. It's also possible for your back to be decreased. Assuming your range of motion has gotten worse, it's definitely possible for an increase. And then same thing with your radiculopathy. Assuming you're diagnosed with that, it's a pretty easy secondary service connection. CH says, CivDiv, what's the response time from Dr. Patel? Response time for email communication. Do you know what the fees are for medical opinion and Nexus letters? I'll tell you this, CH, Dr. Ragna Patel is actually Jay's partner, okay? So I don't know. She's also new. It's a new partnership that we created. Jay is leading that effort. But I'll tell you this, CH, if you want to be the guinea pig, go ahead, send her an email. Let me know what the response time is. I believe it's 7:25. Don't quote me on that, okay? I think it's 7:25. I'll have to ask Jay. He has the answers for that for sure. But send her an email. Write down some notes, and I want you to send me an email after that because I definitely want to be on top of what that partnership looks like. Just Fred with $10 donation. Thanks, VSO. Advise the same. Just want a second opinion. Hey, no worries. Awesome. I'm glad that the VSO you use and myself could give the same advice. Pretty good consistency there. Never forget Ramadi. Yeah. A lot of my seniors, Sergeant Summers to be exact, was in 3-4 in Ramadi. So a little bit before my time. Did I get your email? Willie, I'll tell you this, brother. I'm going to tell you how many emails I have right now. I have, let's see, that is 61, but there's more. Hold on. That's 61. And then in my other folder, I have at least 30 emails in here. So about 90 emails. 90 emails that are unanswered right now. This week, I've been helping out a close friend of mine who's going through a really, really bad time. So I took leave from work to come down to North Carolina. That's why I'm here. So, but that business is not mine to share. CH CivDiv, do you know what schedule mental health rating would be for depressed mood. I absolutely do. And you know what, CH? I will show you myself. Let me get that going right now. How do I do this? Oh my goodness. Okay. We will mark that. Let's get that out of the way. All right. So here, let's go to Google's. We'll go to 38 CFR, ECFR, mental health. I'll show you exactly where to go for this. Click mental health, scroll down. You'll see the general rating formula for mental health disorders. All of those that you listed are going to fall under here. And here we go. Here are the symptoms for 100%. Here are the symptoms for 70, 50, 30, 10, and 0. I'm actually going to link a video down below for you. That's going to go into more in depth what 70% mental health symptoms actually look like. Once I can find it, here it is. Share this bad boy, copy the link, and there you go. Bing bop. Okay. Are migraines and depression common as secondaries of TBI? So migraines are a clear symptom of TBI. Usually, not always, usually what you'll see is TBI with migraines, okay? Or TBI with vertigo. It's a pretty common thing to see, meaning your TBI and migraines are roped together, okay? You'll also see PTSD with TBI or TBI with PTSD or any other kind of mental health condition. And so the VA can kind of rope those together as your symptoms, depending on the severity versus symptoms, excuse me. Doug Rogers. Air Force flu recon missions, okay. RCVD air medal, always the threat of being shot down by USSR. Several incidents, but all classified. No actual combat, but always threat. Would disqualify for PTSD, have diagnosis. Doug, one, looking at so PTSD is not depression or anxiety. It's much more severe. You're going to want to talk to a psychiatrist, okay? Now, do you meet the criteria, so to speak, for PTSD? Sure, you do. That answer is yes. As far as your symptoms, okay? So events are one thing, but 100 different people can experience the same event, and 100 people won't have PTSD. So it depends on you and what are your symptoms, okay? That's my main question for you. And to figure that out, Doug, I'd talk to your primary care, get referred to a mental health psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever that looks like, and talk about your symptoms. And if you're diagnosed with PTSD, that's the way to go. All right, Eric Sullivan just received 60% week ago, 20 for back, 50 for mental health. I use a VSO, but I've been watching and learning from you. Thanks. Thank you, Eric. I definitely appreciate that. And I do believe you were a Patreon supporter, and for that, I greatly appreciate that. Patreon is absolutely the best way to support the channel. Eric, I appreciate that. Thank you. And HVAC Mike with a $5 donation. Hey, brother, how's it going? Thank you for everything that you do. Thank you. Thank everyone for asking questions. Without questions, there is no live. There's no live without questions. Let me make sure I got everyone. Terry Klein, I think I got you. You look good. Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, guys. Reading a rating decision and found service-connected disabilities on appeal since 2010. I sent you an email about PTSD TIU yesterday. All right. I will definitely get to that. Rich says Dickweed sees. Thank you very much. Dr. Sharma, 100% PTSD, legs and back 150. You guys rock. Hey, those are some pretty serious ratings there. I'm glad you're properly rated now. I hope that helps the financial burden of your life, lessen the stress a little bit, and congrats. Congrats to you. Dr. Sharma is one of the best. Now, he's not taking new clients right now, but if you are looking for Dr. Sharma, send me an email. I'll add you to his list, and we can kind of go from there. Beat it. Michael Jackson thing? No. Okay. If I'm 7 years into being P&T and get all of my care to the VA, when can I stop worrying about my file being reviewed? You can stop worrying now, and you could have stopped worrying 7 years ago. You're a P&T. Your conditions are static. Seek the care you need, okay? Your conditions aren't getting better, right? You might be getting better at managing those conditions, but they're not healing, right? Those conditions are static. The whole of the VA is going to take care of P&T. I'm telling you guys, this is what people say on YouTube to get views, right? I hate it. I think it's stupid, but it's what it is. You know, it garners views. It's definitely fear-mongering. Don't worry about it. You're 7 years in, dude. You're good. Doug, yes. Right. Yeah, Vanessa, don't worry about it. I got you. Terry Klein, love the channel, love the content. Thank you very much, and thank you for your $20 donation. Appreciate that. Tawny Coleman says, do I have 1 year from diagnosis to file? So a current diagnosis is within 1 year, and you definitely want to file when you do have that diagnosis. If you wait after that 1 year to file, it's completely okay. Basically what's going to happen is during your CMP exam, the CMP examiner will go ahead and re-diagnose you, but at least you have the evidence for that. For the diagnosis, I want to know what your in-service event would look like, okay? And then with the in-service events and the diagnosis, that is what leads the CMP examiner to give the Nexus. Kobe played defense too. What's up? What's good, man? How's it going? I'm a huge basketball fan, by the way. All right, Jacob Bod N10. I'm doing a BDD right now. Awesome. Congrats to you. I love seeing service members do BDDs. Can I still get a rating for insomnia if you have multiple appointments for sleeping issues but no actual diagnosis? Jacob, I want to know what your, if you claimed anything mental health related. That's what I want to know first, because insomnia is going to come out during that mental health CMP exam. And insomnia will be rated under mental health anyways, right? You cannot receive a rating for insomnia and mental health, like depression, anxiety, PTSD, stuff like that. It's going to be roped together. Moises, how's it going? You know anything about getting sleep apnea connected to tinnitus? I do. I actually know one person that has tinnitus, secondary sleep apnea with the CPAP. I saw some lawyers from Hill and Pont talking about it on YouTube. Yeah, you can. I'm going to tell you this, my opinion. You are going to need a very strong medical opinion that shows your tinnitus is correlating heavily to your sleep apnea, right? And normally what you'll see is the tinnitus is causing maybe anxiety or stress. Within that stress, that's what kind of constricts us, right? And that's what's causing the obstructive sleep apnea when you sleep. There's a doctor way to say all of that, but that is some dude in a hotel room. This background behind me looks fake, right? But it's not. It's in the hotel room. It's a really weird wallpaper, but it looks fake. It's not. Okay. Gregory Thomas says, I'm 40% for lumbar or cervical strain. Can I claim my neck secondary to my back? So you said lumbar or cervical. So your lumbar spine, I'll stand up. Your lumbar spine is here. Your cervical spine is up there on your neck. So cervical strain, neck pain, same. And you said I'm 40% for lumbar or cervical. I want to know which one it is exactly. let me know exactly which one it is. It would actually be best just to look at your VA disability and then copy paste to whatever the diagnosis or whatever it's rated under. That'd be best. Jacob Bond, I got you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right. What's the chance of getting weight gain related to PTSD, MSD? It can definitely happen. One of my really good friends has obesity recognized by the VA due to their PTSD. Now, what you're going to have to fight is someone saying that your weight gain came from a bad diet, okay? Or your weight gain came from a lack of exercise. All of that's true, okay? Your argument is going to be that your PTSD is the main factor in your weight gain. But it's definitely possible, and you would start that by talking to your primary care manager. Banana pudding milkshake, pretty good. All right, Terry Klein. I sent an email to QH twice, been 2 weeks, still no response. Terry, this is like the fourth time this has happened. I apologize for that. We had some mix-ups. Their new email is at Gmail because the Yahoo was being a little weird. So go ahead. I will put it down in the chat for you. Okay. qualityhealthcontact2@gmail.com. And if you want, Terry, send me an email. Within the subject line, put QH, so that way I can text the CEO, the owner of Quality Health, with your email, and then have them get to you first before they get to anyone else, especially if you've already been waiting for 2 weeks. So send me that email, put QH in the subject line. I'll get to it first, then I'll text the owner directly, and kind of speed you through that process because you've been waiting. All right, Rich, thank you very much. I see that. Rich just became a Patreon. I appreciate that. On my Patreon, it's not VA disability related at all. It's actually me and my healthcare for my disabilities and my symptoms. It's the best way to support the channel if you feel so inclined. Okay. Thank you, CivDiv. I will let you know when I find out. Thank you. Appreciate that. Florida Marine, what is the lead time for Dr. Sharma? He's trying to get on the wait list. Florida Marine, I want you to send me an email. Okay. I don't know. I do believe it should be soon. I would say within the month. Gregory says I sent Dr. Patel an email, still waiting on a response. Gregory, when did you send that? And just because we're on this right now, if you want, Gregory, send me an email with Patel in the subject line. And I can ask you more questions and then email her directly myself too. Michael Morton, I would like to learn how to volunteer with Del K. Graham and what I could read to learn how to do this. Yeah, Michael. So go to Del K. Here, I'll link it for you down in the chat. Let me get the actual volunteer link. Okay, here it is. This is the volunteer link for Del K. Graham. If you are serious about volunteering for Del K. Graham, right? Great organization. If you want to give back to veterans, this is how you do it. I just linked it down in the chat for you. Give that a look. Great organization. And as far as learning how to do what I'm doing right now, so live Q&As are actually the hardest part of all of this because you have to understand the process in depth. You have to understand specific disabilities in a lot of them. Personally, that's what I think sets me apart from most of the other YouTubers is that I am capable of doing live Q&As and answering questions on the spot accurately. And the reason why is because I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Okay, sorry. Anyways, yeah. But when you do volunteer with Del K. Graham, they have a class, I guess, or like an orientation course that you'll go through. You'll look at how Del K. Graham processes claims and their process for helping a veteran. And then from there, little by little, you will learn not just their process, but how the VA disability system works. Looking at 38 CFR, how claims work, and stuff like that. And eventually, if you were solid, you could possibly become a VSO one day. Eli Riddle, dude, with the big ones. Eli, thank you so much. I definitely appreciate that. Let me scroll down to see if you have any questions, brother. I can't not answer your question after that. Eric Sullivan, thank you very much. I see that. Okay. Let's see. Eli Riddle, no questions? Hey, brother. One, thank you so much. That's a huge one. I don't even know what to say. Thank you. Man. Seriously. Bobby D's, saying to you, $5. I definitely appreciate that. $5 donation. I see your comment now, Eli. I'll definitely pull it back up. Let me check for Bobby D's. I do love that name. I think it's hilarious. Here you go. I see you, Bobby D's. Okay. I know you only get one rating for mental health. If you're claiming 2 mental health conditions, will both be covered. See, yes, it'd be the same CMP. Assuming you claim those relatively within the same time frame. Okay. And Eli Riddle, or at the same time. Eli Riddle said, met with Dr. Sharma. Can't say enough good things. Had my CMP for 4 conditions today with LHI. Went well. Clay, let me know about the giveaway. I will, for sure. As you know, Eli, Dr. Sharma has been way backed up. That's why he's not taking any more clients. So if you want to reach out to Dr. Sharma, let me know. I'll put you on his list myself. But with that said, Eli, we can't do anything until he's caught up yet. But once he is, that's definitely the plan. I'm aiming to do one the last quarter of the year, which is coming up actually. Worst case scenario, we do it in January. So first quarter of the calendar year. But we'll see. It's definitely on my calendar. I can tell you that much. It's 100% on my calendar. All right, CS says, awesome. Thanks, TheCivDiv. Thank you. I appreciate that. John B says, should I submit a supplemental claim for PTSD if they didn't increase my rating and I have records of it getting worse? I just don't want to risk a reduction in my rating. Yeah, so John B, one, what is your PTSD rated at right now? And two, I know you said your symptoms are getting worse, but are those worsening symptoms detailed in 38 CFR for the next percentage? The most layover you're going to see is 50 and 70. And so you may be at 50%, but you may have some of the 70% ratings or symptoms for mental health. What the VA is going to say is that you most closely associate with 50%, right? And so I have a 70% mental health video I'm going to put down at the bottom of the chat. It talks about the big 3, so to speak, of 70% mental health, okay? And I want you to give that a watch. If that is you, that's definitely the evidence that you want to gather and prepare for that. Wink527 says, I have GERD noted in my service treatment records, but it doesn't explicitly state GERD as a diagnosis. Is this sufficient for a claim? What kind of, if the word GERD is noted in your STRs, that's solid. Okay, that's great. If it's like acid reflux or trouble eating or trouble swallowing, something weird like that, that might get a little shaky, but it will, regardless, it's definitely an in-service event. I'm assuming the word GERD is in there. If that's the case, you need to submit that claim, assuming you have a current diagnosis. All right, Bill says, seriously though, I really appreciate what you do. I pretty much ignored the VA since getting out, getting close to 50 now, and stuff is starting to hurt. Yeah, you know what, Bill? So I started teaching a TAP Plus course, which is Transitioning Assistance Program. The Marine Corps would call it TRS. In that little block I teach, I always say, hey, that little pop in your knee or the uncomfortability in your knee that what you deal with now, when you're 50, it's going to hurt. So you want to get that service connected now. It's one of the things I preach during that course. So here we go. Prime example. Thanks, Bill. Thanks for sharing. Paul, hi. Hello. Do SCT codes mean a diagnosis? I see conflicting SCD, ICD codes. As far as the VA healthcare system is concerned, yes. Right. So your SCT, it stands for something I forgot. But what you'll normally see is both. And so you'll normally see an ICD code listed first, and then the SCT code will be listed below that, and it'll be within the same family, right? So the ICD will be like lumbar sacral strain. The SCT code will be like lower back pain. It's something to worry about. This tells me that you have some type of diagnosis, which is good. It's one of the big three. You still need the in-service event and the Nexus. Ronald Marcotte. I know I butchered that. I apologize. I'm so tired from Gulf War chronic fatigue. I need help finding perception conditions. I think you mean presumptive conditions of 91 and go for, and believe me, I have a lot. I filed intended fire. Yeah, Ronald, step one will be getting a current diagnosis, okay? And so believing you have a condition and then having a doctor say you have a condition are two different things. I'm not saying you don't have it. I'm just saying you need to get a formal diagnosis. With that, with a formal diagnosis, and you meet PACT Act criteria, submit the claim. Call it a day. Don't overcomplicate it at all. Just get a current diagnosis. Matt Afonte here says, hey there, what up? Currently active duty and got diagnosed with sleep apnea. Just received my CPAP. What percentage? That alone is going to be 50% by itself. 50%. Oh, snap. Where did I go? Okay. Josh says, John B., you should file if you think you meet the description 38. Yeah, exactly. Seymour, what's up? Got the 100% P&T. There we go. Another one, guys. Another veteran got 100% P&T. You didn't pay $1,000 for it. You didn't pay $297 for a secret personal statement, whatever that means. You did it just by understanding the process. Congrats to you, Seymour Breezy. I'm really happy for you. Question. Need to appeal effective date, or do you mind taking a look with me? Send me an email. I absolutely will. Now, I'm like 90 emails deep right now. Okay, so I will get to it. I'm going to try every single email in my inbox right now. I'm going to try to have respond and complete by next Friday. So send me an email. Josh, short of the VA making a pretty big error, they aren't allowed revoking P&T status. There you go. Thank you. Yeah, usually there's normally two reasons P&T is revoked. One, they made an error. And if that happens, they usually take it within the first month. And I've seen that more often than not. And then the second one is fraud. Obviously, if you're submitting fraudulent claims, then you just kind of deserve it. Thank you. Makes me feel better. I'm glad I made you feel better. Seriously. Happy to be here. Shout out to Doc for helping. There we go. Next level cash. Thanks for coming. Appreciate that. B-Buck says, well, gotta go. TheCivDiv is the best info for vets that's out there. Everyone, thank you very much. Hit like, please. I definitely appreciate that. Helps the channel. Helps me reach more veterans. That's about it. Iron Weld 15. I have a back injury from in-service event, and leg tingling and numbness has been 30 plus years since discharge. What would be my chance of getting service connection? I definitely want to know what your care has looked like, what your health care has looked like for your back, lower back specifically, in your legs the last 30 years. But regardless, you have the in-service event, the back injury from in-service event. Got it. You have that. I'm assuming you could get a current diagnosis. It really comes down to the nexus and the chronic and continuous. Regardless, I think you have enough evidence to submit the claim without an opinion. That's what I would do if I were you. And if denied, then we'll cross that bridge. You can certainly submit an opinion up front if you want to. It's just not something I'd recommend unless you just have the money you don't care. Is there any way to speed up the VES schedule CMP exam? They're saying not till the end of November. No, there's not. You can call them, okay? You can give them a phone call. You can call the VA. Maybe they could do something about it. Good stuff. I have a mental health diagnosis claim. All right, I'm scrolling down. I don't really see anything else from there. Check out my mental health video. You're going to want to watch that. I have 2 of them. One is mental health CMP exams. The other one is mental health at 70%. So you're going to want to watch both of those. Insomnia is mental health. Yes, it is. Brothers, I don't even know what that means. Dre M. Rich, I have an LOD for my reserve time. How do I file a claim using an LOD? Yeah, so first, I'd recommend using a VSO, but let's assume you don't want to. You would submit the claim for whatever it's for. So if you hurt your back and you have an LOD, then it would be a lower back pain. Okay, submit the claim, upload your evidence using Quick Submit. Now, I have 2 videos on that that are tutorials. I will link them down below for you on how to submit your own claim. It is super easy, especially with this tutorial here. Submit claim. Boop. And then the next one is going to be submitting evidence. And that's where you're going to upload your LOD and whatever else you want as evidence. There you go. 2 videos. Check that out. Eli Riddle, every time I see that up there, it just makes me happy. Appreciate that, brother. All right, Love Life says case. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to be able to look at case law right now, but insomnia is rated under mental health. CivDiv, what does it mean if the Army acknowledged non-cardiac chest pain and it's not service-connected? I never had non-cardiac chest pain before my military service. It started while serving in South Korea. Can I appeal that and get it service-connected? I want to know what your decision letter says. I want to know what the diagnosis is specifically, if you are diagnosed first. Without looking at the decision letter, there's no way I can give you advice on this. There's just too many factors coming out. Okay. Gregory Thomas says, that is what it said on my rating sheet. I don't even know what you're talking about. Let's see. Let's scroll up. Gregory Thomas. Oh, talking about the lumbar or cervical. Yeah, I want to know, if you want, Gregory, send me the decision letter, okay? I can take a look at it. We'll determine if it's lumbar, thoracolumbar spine, or cervical spine, depending on how that's rated. We'll see. Vito Gax says, VA communicator mental health. Where can I see diagnosis? Should I request records from community care? You could also do blue button report. It should be in there. The easiest way is to looking at your blue button, Control F, mental health or depression, anxiety, PTSD, whatever it is you're talking about. That's what it is. That's the new email for Quality Health. qualityhealthcontact2@gmail.com. IFRAG, 40% for cervical back. I was diagnosed in service for sciatica, arthritis, lumbar strain, having pain and numbness in both upper extremities. Do I stand a chance of getting a rating? Absolutely. So just how lumbar spine or lumbar lower back condition cause sciatic nerve damage and radiculopathy in each leg, your cervical, your neck, can cause nerve damage in your shoulders, and it actually crisscrosses like this. Okay? And so coming from your back right down to your left, and then the other way around. And so, yes, if your arms go numb, absolutely submit that claim. You also have sciatica or arthritis. I'm assuming arthritis in your back. I would skip that one. And then your lumbar strain. So I would also claim lumbar strain and sciatica. I know you only get 1 rating for MH, 2 mental health. Bobby D. Oh, I got you, Bobby D, as we answered that earlier. Please talk about favorable findings. I put in my respiratory condition for which I was denied but got favorable finding for asthma. Yeah, favorable find. I'll also link a video for you too. This is going to be on Del K. Graham's channel, actually. It talks about favorable findings and how to read your decision letter. But a favorable finding is the VA acknowledging a diagnosis. They are acknowledging that you've been exposed to certain toxins. They could acknowledge that your primary service-connected disability is connected. Those are what favorable findings are. Where is the read your decision letters video? Here it is. So I talk about it more in depth in here. This is on Del K. Graham's channel. Take a look at that. Thank you. Okay. Alex says claimed recital dysfunction in my claim, some due to depression, but other is scrotum pains. Would they deny this due to pyramiding? It's nice to get more evidence. No, it wouldn't be pyramiding, okay? Talking about scrotum pains and recital dysfunction. It definitely wouldn't be pyramiding as far as mental health is concerned. I'm more so curious as to, you're looking at a secondary service connection. I want to know what the linkage is between those two. CH says, CivDiv, do you see them adding South Korea region to toxic exposure list? No, I don't at all for PACT Act. Now, toxins are toxins, right? So if you're exposed to a toxin, it's a toxin. It's in there. I spent time there exposed to yellow dust, horrible air pollution, and Korean nationals openly burning trash near my barracks. I don't see South Korea being put on that list at all. At least current South Korea. Why does QH want you to get denied before they'll assist with Nexus and or DBQs? For evidence, and that's actually pretty solid, Jamie. So IMOs and DBQs really shine in appeals. They really do. And once you're denied, it'll tell you exactly what you need to combat that. And if you have the in-service event and all that stuff. I will tell you this, what any medical opinion provider wants to see is in-service events, and they want to see a current diagnosis. Before we even think about the opinion, that's what they want to see. What is your in-service event? What is your current diagnosis? Thank you very much. Appreciate that. You don't have to, Eric. Appreciate that. Gregory says, will do. Thanks. Yep. Awesome. I definitely want you to email me, please. Sadiq says, hello. How's it going? Eli says, here to spread the love. Appreciate that. Doug, if VA ratings all come after age 55, does that keep them safe as long as they don't poke the bear? Been out for 32 years and I'm receiving ratings now. Pretty much, unless you have like cancers. I wouldn't sweat it. You can poke the bear if you want to. Love the truth. Would you claim IBS as secondary to PTSD or call for presumptive? Yeah. If you do meet the presumptive time frame, I would just claim IBS. Okay. If you're really worried about it, or if you don't know if IBS is a presumptive condition for wherever you were at, you can absolutely claim IBS secondary to PTSD. It does not matter. The VA will look at presumptive connection anyways. Secret Sauce says, I was connected back in January and I'm filing secondary conditions. How likely am I to receive a reduction for my initial condition? Not likely at all. It's recent. Okay. I also want to know what condition we're talking about and what your symptoms are. And if they've improved since January. It's not that likely to improve in such a short amount of time, but Technically speaking, yes, it could happen. James Daggs says, I have a claim with Delk Graham right now and do another claim now. Should I wait for my decision? You could at least do an intent to file now. Okay, that's to start. I want to know how long that claim's been in the system for, what the claim is, and what your new claim is before I answer that. Click it. It says, can you file secondary while doing a BDD on the way out? Hey, so there are no secondaries on a BDD claim. Just submit the claim. Okay. So if you're looking at radiculopathy secondary to lumbar strain, just submit radiculopathy. Secondaries aren't even a thought yet because you're still active duty. Okay. Now, can you submit more claims during a BDD process? Yes, you can within that window. If it's after 90 days, you got to wait. Sadiq, I submitted a sufficient DBQ and Nexus with my supplemental claim and they scheduled a CMP exam. Do I have to attend this or do you risk getting additional negative medical evidence? Yeah, this is probably the hardest, most controversial question in VE disability claims. Sadiq, personally, I'm going to say go to your CMP exam. Okay. Now, the counter argument to that is if you believe your DBQ and Nexus is sufficient, as you stated here, and you miss your CMP exam, it's okay, right? The VA will still have to use that evidence. Now, if they scheduled you a CMP exam because the DBQ and Nexus was not sufficient and you don't go to that CMP exam, all of a sudden you're fighting a losing battle, okay? I recommend go to the CMP exam. I want to know what condition this is for. I want to know who wrote the Nexus. I want to know who completed the DBQ. And then I want to know who is giving your CMP exam. Tons of questions. Well, there's CMP exams if you file for an increase. There's CMP exams for just about every single claim, yes. If the VA needs to see more evidence, they will schedule a CMP exam. How do you see if your conditions are static? It doesn't say in the claims letter. It does not. It does not at all. Two ways. You can request your C file. It takes forever. We know that. Secret sauce. You could go to your regional office. I've had veterans reach out to me and tell me that they can go to their regional office in person and right then and there, they will tell them which of their disabilities are static. That's another way. You can also do a FOIA request for those conditions only, which is much, much faster than a C-file request. Are you still at Delk Graham in Oklahoma? I volunteer for them, okay, remotely. I actually live in the DC area. Currently, I'm in North Carolina near Camp Lejeune at the moment. Me says I'm filing a secondary of anxiety to tinnitus. I have a diagnosis from the VA psychiatrist and a nurse practitioner gave me a F41.1 GAD. I'm getting a Nexus. Should I include both diagnoses in my claim? You're filing anxiety secondary to tinnitus, and then your second diagnosis is GAD. I would just keep it anxiety. It doesn't matter, to be honest with you. If you want to, the psychiatrist and an MP gave me GAD. Then I would do GAD personally. Bobby D's, it's Samantha. I forget that you are Samantha. I apologize. I always forget that. I love that name, by the way. Just want to let you know I sent you an email with the evidence I plan on submitting. I'll definitely get to it. I promise. Toby runs a lot. Clay does not. How do I go to RO and request info on CMP exams? Already have C file. Don't need it all again. Thanks. Super simple. Go to your regional office. You can do a FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, for your CMP exams. Generally, it takes about 2-3 days. It's very, very fast. You could also talk to your VSO, and as long as they're not busy or a douchebag, they will tell you the result of your CMP exam, at least the Nexus statement associated with that. Seymour, thank you, and congrats to you. Love the truth. How do you get a diagnosis? What's the easiest way to go about that? How do you get a Nexus without the hassle of VA doctors? Love the truth. Yeah, so how do you get a diagnosis? I have a video on this, but I'll shortly explain here. 2 ways. There's VA healthcare, which takes forever. And it also depends on your care team too. There's a lot of personality involved in here. Then there's private insurance, which is way faster, generally better. And that is 2 ways you can get a diagnosis. VA healthcare will probably take a while. Private insurance will probably be a little bit faster. How you get a Nexus without the hassle of VA doctors. So I always recommend you try to get a medical opinion or DBQ filled out from your provider at the VA or your provider through private insurance. Now, keep in mind that there's certain things the VA needs to see in an IMO, okay? And so the most common and probably the best way to get a Nexus letter is to go privately. We have 3 partners here on TheCivDiv that I highly recommend. It depends on what condition you're talking about on who I would recommend that. But before you go down that route, talk to the VA, talk to your private, if you have private insurance. Do you have a connection for DBQs and an IMO for multiskeletal issues? No jab at Dr. Sharma. Yeah, no, he's not a I assume you mean musculoskeletal. Yeah, he's a psychiatrist. Okay, so you're going to want a physician. Secret sauce, I do. You're going to want to look at quality health. I also see your super sticker. I'll put down here. Joined late, and I'm sure you've covered this, but a quick timeline for Dr. Sharma. I submitted in April, and I'm now scheduled to meet with him in October. FY, you have to pay up front now. All right. Okay. Secret sauce, that is going to be qualityhealthcontact2@gmail.com. Appreciate that, Secret Sauce. Thank you for the timeline update. iFrog, I'm waiting for an initial meeting with the Dale K. Graham Foundation. Should appointment in January. Should I file intent to file while waiting? Frag, they already have your intent to file. So once you sign up with them, they submit the intent to file for you right after you complete the power of attorney, which you did, right? So you're good there. Not much, just went to VAER. Okay. F0 Buff Nipple, I love this name. I am attending Soldier for Life, transitioning. Yep, assistance program tomorrow, class all days, VA benefits. Hope I learned some new things. Zero Buff Nipple, I'm going to tell you right now, you're not going to. Most people that teach a VA benefits class during TAP or TRS does a very, very broad overview saying, hey, you get burial, you get healthcare, there are some benefits, talk to a VSO. That's basically going to be the class. I hope it's better than that, right? But definitely let me know. My TAP course was baloney. That's why I try to do my best now to teach it. I'm teaching TAP Plus on Belvoir right now. Jen Justice just went to VSO for CMP exam results for insomnia. There we go, prime example. It was bad. The examiner said I had symptom in service, but now I cannot control. Ooh, bad CMP examiner. I think I will get denied. I would be more interested, Jen, to see what the Nexus statement was. Was it at least as likely? Was it more than likely? That would be good. Or was it less likely? That would not be so good. I fragged and hey, I appreciate that. Yeah, Del K. Graham automatically submits an intent to file for you. Nothing to worry about at all. If you want to double check that, feel free to call them. They will let you know. Diagnosed with sciatica, a wedge fractured as per VA doctors. Yep. Odin Gillenwater, what email should I send my questions to? Turn down for my recent claim. TheCivDiv@gmail.com. It's in the description, somewhere towards the bottom. Gregory Thomas, sorry about that. Lost connection. Storming here in Florida. Gave wrong info. Rating sheet. Thoracolumbar strain. Yep, absolutely. Okay, Greg. I'm going to scroll up and look at your original question because now we're talking about the thoracolumbar spine. Because remember you had asked a good question. So let me find it. Going up, going up, going up, going up, going up, going up, going up. Here it is. So you're 40% for thoracolumbar spine. Can I claim my neck secondary to my back? The answer is yes, you can, given you have the evidence that suggests the secondary connection in the first place. So short answer is yes. Yes, you can. You absolutely can. You guys received Big B with the best donation of the night, $17.75. Simplify USMC Big B. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. That contact I gave you, let me know. I'm actually working with 2 different lawyers right now that I hope come through. I've been trying to get an accredited attorney to work with me in some capacity for a while. Okay. Let me know if he worked out, Big B. And if not, I can definitely send you 2 more contact information from these 2. One of them seemed pretty solid, but we just started this conversation. Ari Smith, I'm 70% for PTSD, 50% for sleep apnea, secondary to PTSD, and 10% for a scar. What can I do to become 100? Also receive SSDI for my PTSD. Yeah, I mean, there's basically, it's screaming TDIU right now. It's also screaming increase to 100% on PTSD. That's my initial thought, just looking at this comment alone. If you don't want to go that route, you could look at other secondaries of PTSD, especially with severe, like you have here. I would look at IBS. I would look at GERD. I would look at migraines. Those are pretty, I wouldn't say easy, but they are pretty straightforward. That is my initial thought without looking at all your evidence, Ari Smith. I'm going to assume you have some PACT criteria in there. So I'd look at that too, like sinusitis, rhinitis, not asthma, bronchitis. IBS is a part of that as well. I have an appointment. Yep, gotcha. David Johns, how long is it generally to get a decision for uprating after the CMP exam has been completed? Generally, after the CMP exam, I'm going to say within 90 days. 90 days. Come on, folks, hit the like button. Appreciate that. Definitely hit the like button. You see Big B says, sorry I'm late. Hey, no worries. No worries. We're chilling. I got my banana pudding milkshake here. Pretty good. Congrats to internal. 100% P&T. I hope I was a part of that. I hope I taught you something. I hope I led you to the promised land. And notice how I didn't charge you anything for free information because claims consulting companies suck. Mike Gogol with the $10, $20 donation. Apologize for that. Thank you very much, Mike. Let's scroll down and see if you got a question, brother. Do you got a question? Thanks for all the help. Thank you. I definitely appreciate that, Mike. USMC Big B, I'm going to connect you to 2 other people. 2 other people. That is upsetting. So to give you some backstory, everyone else, USMC Big B is looking for a lawyer. He does have a complicated case. I sent him to one who is an accredited attorney, and I guess he ghosted you. I'm not sure what happened there, but I'm not really happy about that at all. I'm actually going to send him an email after this and just basically tell him to fuck off. Okay, sorry. All right, CH says, in regards to your non-cardiac chest pain, it was documented in my medical board packet. I didn't get any details or decision letter. The chest pain comes and goes. Yeah, feel free to send me the decision letter for your chest pain. Chest pain is a weird one. Can you be rated for chest pain? Absolutely, you can. I also want to know what else your server is connected for, because it could definitely, those symptoms could be roped somewhere else, maybe, potentially. When submitting Quick Submit, how do you show a secondary connection in VA form? I'm assuming you have to submit all evidence. No. So you do the secondary connection. If you're going online, you don't need a 526 EZ, okay? If you want to use your 526 and use that on Quick Submit, that's fine too. That's not what I would recommend, but you can absolutely do it. But yeah, your assumption is right. On the 526, you put the claim down. It'll ask if it's due to anything, and then you would put your service connected condition in that box. I believe it's the second box, if my memory serves me right. Now, what I would do is just go submit a claim online on va.gov, do a secondary claim online, and then whatever evidence you want to upload, use it on Quick Submit. That's what I would personally do, or just go through a VSO. But either way will work. Don't sweat. Whichever way you choose is fine. Zosick waited 10 months for a virtual hearing. Okay. Judge said she would order another CMP exam. At the virtual CMP exam, the doc just asked yes or no questions to the mental health DBQ. Good or bad? I don't know if it's good or bad. I want to know what questions they asked you. And keep in mind, if you had another CMP exam, the VA probably only needed information on what they didn't have in the first place. Is what led the judge to make that decision. I wouldn't say yes or no questions are bad. I wouldn't say they're good either. They're definitely not bad. I have tons of questions as to that. Feel free to send me an email if you'd like. Excellent Eternal. All right, cool beans. I was denied PTSD from a sexual assault. I'm sorry to hear this, but had diagnosis of adjustment disorder with depressed mood and anxiety from CMP exam. However, I was never given any ratings for it. Yeah, you're probably diagnosed and then denied with that as well. Probably, if I had to take a wild guess. Send me, if you want, Christy, send me the decision letter that states that for that denial. 6 feet, 7 feet. Okay. What is the difference between main VA claims and secondary VA claims? Yeah, so there's direct and secondary. Direct is military service calls this. So let's say you fell off a truck, you hurt your shoulder, you submit the claim. That would be your shoulder condition, shoulder strain, direct service connection. Let's see simultaneously 1 year down the road, 5 years down the road, 10 years later, that shoulder strain now causes nerve damage through your elbow and up to your hand. Okay, carpal tunnel, cubital nerve, whatever. That would be a secondary claim. Some secondaries are easier than others. Some are harder than others. Okay, nerve damage claims from musculoskeletal conditions are generally pretty easy. Anything that's like mental health or something that can't be seen on an X-ray or MRI, generally a bit more difficult. Angela B says, just join, you rock. I appreciate that. You rock. Thank you. Submitted my appeals today and have 2 next letters from a psychiatrist and psychologist diagnosed with PTSD. Do you think this will help me with my appeals? I absolutely do. Assuming the opinion is what got you denied in the first place. I see your third comment too. Daniel Jane, you just as you type this out, you just type your question out and I'll get to it. I was also denied for IBS and ulcerative colitis, but was seen in service after my sexual assault for gastroenteroma. Can this be secondary PTSD even when the appeal? It could be, okay? You have the in-service event, so I would also like to see the decision letter for that too. But you already submitted appeals for the mental health, so you don't have to send me that. Gat Zaraki PR. I did not say that right. Had my CMP exam for allergies and GERD, but sometime filed for other 2 conditions. Was told my first 2 CMP wait time. It could. You're from Puerto Rico. The answer is it could. There's so many factors at play here. I can't really answer this. I'll give you what I think will happen. I don't think the other 2 conditions will hold your CMP exams. I do think it will delay the decision of your claim unless these 2 new conditions are deferred. Right, so no on the CMP exam, yes to your claim taking a little bit longer than it should, unfortunately. McKinsey just filed for an increase with canine keratosis and Nevi service connection at 0. Now have stage 3. Yes, submit the increase. Rick Rod, hi Clay, what's up? Hope you and your family are well. We are, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Listen, 100% severe psychiatric illness. Can I claim secondary service connected for taking 4 years of psychiatric medication? You absolutely can, for sure. Okay, if you are 100%, it says 100% severe psychiatric illness. I want to know if you're service connected for that mental health illness. Especially at 100%, that might not be something you want to touch. But you're taking medication for 40 years. 40 years, excuse me. I filed for migraines in April. All right, dope. You skipped my question. Oh, I apologize, Wanda. I'm scrolling up. Well, let me start this, actually. I'm scrolling up right now to find Wanda. I don't see it. I'm going to keep looking. I did answer that. Are there CMP exams you file for an increase? The answer is yes. You will have a CMP exam. The only way you wouldn't have a CMP exam is if you submitted a complete DBQ and the VA had all the evidence they needed to not schedule the CMP exam. Apologize for that. Chicken Hawk. Okay. I was denied service connection for back pain. Should I fight that decision or it'd be easier to just try secondary to my Chicken Hawk? The only way I can answer that is if you send me your decision letter in an email. TheCivDiv@gmail.com. I'll take a look at it, probably ask you a few more questions, and then we can go from there. Please explain how we can get your C file. Yeah, so do a FOIA request. What I would do personally is go to your regional office in person and then submit a FOIA request right then and there in person through your regional office for your C file. That is the best way to do it, okay? While you're there, if you have like a CNP exam you want to see results of, you can also do a FOIA for that specific exam, and that will be much, much faster than your C file. But if you wanted your C file, through the regional office is what I would recommend. I filed in April, migraine secondary to tinnitus. All right, that's dope. Hoping you filed an evidence-based claim. What time is it? It's 8:30 here. Someone just said something on Patreon. Let's see who they are. Rich, again, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate that. Okay. Active duty with 19 years in military. My PCM wants me to put you through a MEB. Have issues back, sleep apnea, neck, also anxiety, depression. Will I be able to get 20-year retirement? How far are you into your 19 years? Generally speaking, before your MEB is over, you're probably going to hit your 20-year mark. Probably, if I had to take a wild guess. You could also just wait if you're really worried about that. The answer is yes. To answer your question, though, is yes. Jose Garcia had a CMP exam. She took my measurements and then she turned around to input those values into her computer. She asked me to do the range of motions again. I was supposed to say no because it hurts, but did it anyways. No. I know people on YouTube will tell you not to do the range of motion test. I'm telling you right now, they're idiots. I promise. There are multiple tests, especially for the back. And they're looking at non-resistance and resistance or weighted. Okay? You did the right thing, Jose. You did the right thing. What causes a ventral hernia besides being overweight? Stress. Stress is one of them. Overweight's definitely one. Or definitely a big factor, but stress is another. Now, I'm not a doctor, okay? I'm sure there are more. But just from looking at a ton of claims, stress. How do you think that will affect my CMP? I definitely stopped forward bending flexion before 30 degrees. Hey, if you visibly showed pain and the CMP examiner noted that, then it is what it is, okay? It sounds like your CMP exam went well. What is considered as diagnosis? I've been telling my primary physician about my sciatica for the past 2 years, but never got it tested. He only recorded. Would this be considered as diagnosis? No, not that alone. You could be diagnosed depending on what happened 2 years ago. I don't know what led to this over the span of 2 years, but regardless, you have complaints. And so if you're missing a diagnosis but you have complaints, the CMP examiner will diagnose you. R.E. Smith says, thank you. I definitely appreciate that. Thanks for all you do. Appreciate that. Bobby D's. I'm so glad you do these live Q&As. You are so knowledgeable. Thank you. I appreciate that. I've spent a lot of time reading documents that are very boring. You truly care about your fellow vets. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you for your time and effort. Everyone like and share. Share the stream. I definitely appreciate that. And I definitely appreciate caring for fellow vets. One of my really good friends is going through a really shitty time right now. That's what brings me down to North Carolina here at Lejeune. It took me from work to help out, so that's why I'm here. I'll get to this. Don't worry. He did seem honorable and gave... Oh, okay. I see now. Okay. No, he didn't. He said he couldn't because I still had a lawyer. Oh, USMC Big B. That makes sense. Okay. I'm glad you said that, right? Because now that makes me feel a lot better about this dude. But hey, if that's something that you're interested in, you could change representation if you like. I got diagnosis as MDD for single episode. Would it be able to claim service connected to my lumbar strain? You could submit the claim. Absolutely. Does your lumbar strain cause your mental health? That's different. Okay. Generally speaking, I would probably recommend a medical opinion for this. What you could do is submit the claim, assuming you have the evidence that suggests a secondary service connection. And if that's the case, go for it. And then if you're denied, then consider the medical opinion in DBQ. Andrew Futon, what's up? Marine Corps 09 to 13, Bahrain, Kuwait, field radio. I have PACT Act. I was in Kuwait and Bahrain in 2012. Service connection for tinnitus at 10%. Is Meniere's vertigo? No. It's not presumptive. Meniere's and vertigo could be secondary. I wouldn't say it's common, right? It is conditions of the ear. I understand that you have tinnitus, but I wouldn't say it's common. The amount of veterans that have tinnitus versus the amount of veterans that have tinnitus secondary Meniere's, There's a huge gap between those. Okay, so I wouldn't say it's common, but it's definitely possible. Do you have a diagnosis for Meniere's and vertigo? That's what I want to know. Jose and Gristle used Dr. Sharma for IMO DBQ, submitted claim August 4th, decision September 11th. That's pretty good. Was that 38 days? 70% service-connected, no CNP exam. Here you go. Boom. There we go. Thank you very much, Jose, for sharing that. I appreciate that. Dr. Sharma is the bee's knees. No CNP exam. All right, I'm going to have to shut the live down here soon, get some sleep. I just got a decision today. Upgrade to fibro from 20 to 40. Failed. So you went for an increase and you didn't get it. The examiner called fibro bullshit and fake illness. My psychological disorder was canceled and called VA and they reopened it. Gavin, that seems wild. That seems wild. I see this. I have spam on my phone. I see this, and I'm actually going to, let me open it up on my phone so I can look at it in a second, or after the stream at least. At VA_ed. He looks cool. Is this dude a lawyer? I think so. All right. I have him on my phone. I'll take a look at him. Dr. Sharma is in Baltimore, Maryland. But remember, this is mental health, meaning DBQs can be filled out over the internet webs. Hey, brother, good work on the back video. Hey, Greg. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm going to start. So I have the sleep apnea one, and then I have the back one. I'm going to start looking at conditions and just making really detailed 38 CFR based videos on those and not give my opinion on certain conditions. Make them as fact-based as possible. But I appreciate that, Greg. Seriously. Angela B, another $10 donation from Angela. Angela, this got to be like your 30th donation. I definitely appreciate that very much. Seriously, thank you very, very, very much. All right, we are actually almost to the bottom, so I'll try my best to get to the bottom before we dip out. He asked yes or no to DBQ mental health symptoms. I had 50%, then went in for an increase. In that exam, they proposed reduced to 30. This exam, I answered mostly yes to 70% criteria. Okay. If you are experiencing 70% mental health symptoms, that sucks. Don't forget to seek care, but it's good as far as being properly rated for mental health. So yeah, in this instance, Zosik, based off your last question you asked about an hour ago, I would say it's good, right? It definitely doesn't seem bad. GC Stone at the VA says a claim for TDIU is inferred and tells you to apply, is it more likely to be approved? I wanted to know in what letter, in what context that was told. And the reason why I'm asking is because sometimes CNP examiners will give you a little too much information that they don't really understand. That's where I assume it came from. But hey, as far as TDIU is concerned, it sounds like good news for benefits. Did you follow up on my questions? You didn't really ask a question. You just kind of stated things. I'll show you an example of that, James. James Dags. Yeah, I filed in April for migraine secondary to tinnitus. I don't know what the question is there for that. I can infer a question. For migraines, you want 3 pieces of evidence. You want a migraine log that you share with your primary care. You want some kind of treatment plan like medication or injections. And then a personal statement detailing your migraine log and your symptoms and how often you take your medication. As far as secondary connection goes, you want evidence suggesting the secondary connection in the first place. This looks like complaints to your primary care. It could be a medical opinion. I really wouldn't go down that route unless you've been denied. But those are the questions that I kind of pulled out of nowhere. Rick Rod with a $20 donation. I appreciate that, Rick. Thank you very much. If you have a question, please throw it down there. I see it right now. Yes, Clay, 100% P&T, 36 years, service connected, have like 10 secondary conditions. Yeah, if you are 100% P&T for 36 years, you can absolutely claim whatever you want. It really does not matter. Okay. I would focus on conditions that you believe are going to kill you one day. Right. I say that as serious as possible. Like hypertension would be a solid one. I would probably go for it. And I'm assuming that's one of your 10. But listen, you've been P&T for 36 years. You have nothing to worry about at all. Submit whatever claims you want out the wazoo. Submit them all. Oh, I got all blurry. Okay. Paul says, currently getting treated at VA for back issues. On physical therapy and MRI show bulging disc and something else. My primary care doc didn't put a diagnosis for anything though. Should I ask for it? You can't ask for it, but regardless, you have an MRI that shows bulging disc and something else. There's probably an SCT code associated with that somewhere. You just don't see it in your medical records. But certainly you can ask what you've been diagnosed with. And assuming you have the in-service event, I would absolutely submit a claim. Once a Marine 95. Please explain the difference between private IMO, DBQ, Nexus, and when to use one versus the other during an appeal. Thanks. Yeah, easy peasy. So, IMO, Nexus, same thing. Okay, Nexus letter. So a private independent medical opinion, you go to a specialist, like a psychiatrist for mental health, a physician for musculoskeletal condition, an ENT for an ear, nose, throat problem, a podiatrist for feet, right? And then so on and so forth. That specialist can write an opinion saying, hey, here's the veteran's evidence. Here's my opinion. Here are studies that show that agree with my opinion. And here are my qualifications to make this opinion. That's the next letter, right? Oh, and the fifth one is the Nexus statement. That's the most important. I forgot. At least as likely or more than likely is really what you want. A DBQ, separate from the medical opinion, is how severe your symptoms are, right? Do you meet this criteria? Do you meet this criteria? Do you meet this criteria? And each DBQ looks different. So there's one for your thoracolumbar spine. There's one for PTSD. There's one for eating disorders. There's tons of them. Okay. In fact, I'll actually show you where they are right now. Let's go to the Googles. Go DBQ VA. You'll see public DBQs here. Click this link. And here they are. These are all DBQs. So cardiovascular, dental, dermatology, ear, nose, throat, gastro. Here's musculoskeletal, tons. And then you'll see psychological down here. Those are DBQs. Now, the last little box of every DBQ says remarks. And a solid DBQ will either reference the medical opinion if you got them together, or it will be a very, very short big three, right? So the DBQ will list what the evidence is in the in-service event, what the diagnosis is, and then what the Nexus statement is below that. That would be a pretty solid DBQ. Okay, now when do you use one? I would say during the appeal, right? IMOs and DBQs shine in appeals, especially secondary. Secondary claims that have been denied, IMOs and DBQs really, really shine. But for any appeal, you'll really see IMOs and DBQs shine if you have the evidence to support the opinion. okay? Especially if you have the in-service event. Is that a green screen in your hotel? Yeah, secret sauce. So this looks fake. It's not, okay? I can touch this wall. I can move this little, see the little ring? The wall looks fake. I'm in a hotel room. It looks pretty wild, actually. I don't know why it looks like that. It's got to be the lighting. The lighting on both sides, which was there. I didn't touch it. I didn't set this up at all. It's got to be the lighting, though. Kate Thomas with a $10 donation. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. If you have a question, let me know, brother. He says, this is for bilateral hearing loss. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. Oh, no. I see your first one. I was a little confused there. Disease linked to your military service. You have sufficient service to meet the minimum requirements for presumptive service connection. You served in... Yeah, that's just saying that you meet the requirement for presumptive service connection. Are you saying your bilateral hearing loss is presumptive to service connection? I would be very interested in seeing this decision letter. I think that would be the easiest way to say that. But yeah, if you have the decision letter, please send that to me in an email. I'd like to take a look at that. All right, I'll answer a few more questions, and then I'm going to shut the stream down. Thank you, my brother, for all the information you've put out and for responding to me. I did experience pain and demonstrated it. Jose, that's good. Okay, good on you for that. Just found your channel. Were you a raider before? No, I was not. I was not a raider. I volunteer for Del K. Graham Veterans Foundation. That's an accredited VSO. I make YouTube videos on their channel, and I have a day job, and I just not to get too nerdy into it, but one of my jobs in the Marine Corps, my second 5 years, I started out as infantry. My second 5 years was a bunch of reading policy stuff, and I just have the ability. If I read something, I retain the information, okay? Not emails or people's names, but if I read something in a book or in policy, I just retain it. It's the weirdest shit ever. I don't understand it. But that's definitely helped me in terms of VA disability. If I have a diagnosis from the VA in a private NP, should I include both in my claim? Absolutely, 100%. Ryan Johnson, I got my C file back in August, was looking at it and saw them looking for evidence for my AR and saw that they saw instances of sinusitis as well. I did not file for sinusitis. Okay? Does this mean I'll get CMP for sinusitis as well? You didn't file for sinusitis? No. No, it does not. One, I'm assuming you meet PACT criteria. If that's the case, go get a diagnosis and submit sinusitis. I will go ahead and end it on this question here. I have my STR. However, it's missing records from my MFO deployment. Do you know how to get medical records from MFO? I don't even know what a multinational force observer is. I don't know what kind of deployment that is. I don't know what service you were in. I would start with your service personally and see where to go from there. All right, that's it for the stream. I appreciate it, guys. Well, hold on. I can't not say something here. Dale Musselwhite, thanks for all you do. Last night, Stephanie from VHV mentioned you and said, what a nice guy and how knowledgeable you are. Hey, thank you for that. And Miss Stephanie, if you're watching, thank you for that. I appreciate it. I will have Stephanie on this live at some point. I have so much shit going on right now. I haven't scheduled that out, but I will. So Stephanie will be on this live, and we're going to tag team answers to questions. I'm hoping I can learn something from her. I'm hoping she can learn something from me. I will tell you this, of all the people that help with claims, Stephanie's Facebook group, Veterans Helping Veterans, and their YouTube channel is pretty good, right? It's free based, it's donation based, just like this channel. She's not a claim shark. She has a team of people that support her. A lot of people on her Facebook group are good. Some of them are pretty snarky, but that team is pretty quick to stop that. So shout out to Veterans Helping Veterans for sure. I'm not a big fan of charging veterans for anything at all. That's just my personal opinion. But that's the end of the live. Thank you for coming. Dale, I appreciate that. What a freaking comment to end on. All right. I'm going to end it with the video, 3-minute video countdown. It has veterans' pictures on it. If you want your picture in this video, a part of my stream, just send me an email. I don't need context at all. I will go ahead and add your photo in here. There's actually a few photos I haven't added, but I will. But check it out. If you want your photo featured here, all you got to do is send it to me.
Whiskey 9 Yankee 7 November Golf, over. Whiskey 9 go. Whiskey 9 7 November interrogative Alpha Bravo. Negative Alpha Bravo. And this is 7 November Golf. Roger, request you check your Romeo side. I'll go ahead and check my Tango side. 7 November Golf out. November 8 to 5. And 8 o'clock, 7 November 2nd. Roger, 7 November, go. Roger, I contacted a while ago, 1 Charlie transmission that my thing used, November, go, 1 Charlie, and 8 5, this is 7 November, Charlie. Alright, 8 5, right now. Now 1 Charlie, 7 November, go.
This is 1 Charlie, in reference to your last, you're Brandon 158, extra 5 o'clock, arrives at 1200 between Queens and local. Also request your unit take inbound message to see if we can try to get Whiskey 9 and 8 for pause at the playground.
And this is 7 November, Roger, stand by.
Got that?
Got it? Alright. And all units, this is 7 November Golf, my unit Alpha, Echo, X-ray Alpha Alpha in there.
One Charlie, Alpha Bravo.
Hey, I never took a dip. I forgot to take a dip.
Whiskey 9, 7 November, interrogative Alpha Bravo. Whiskey 9 Yankee 7 November Golf, over. Whiskey 9 go. Whiskey 9 7 November interrogative Alpha Bravo. Whiskey 9 Yankee 7 November Golf, over. Whiskey 9 go. Whiskey 9 7 November interrogative Alpha Bravo. Negative Alpha Bravo. And this is 7 November Golf. Roger, request you check your Romeo side. I'll go ahead and check my Tango side. 7 November Golf out. November 8 to 5. And 8 o'clock, 7 November 2nd. Roger, 7 November, go.